Hello everyone and welcome to Operation Floodgate M.O.M.A Guide for Warlocks. This brand new dungeon is overflowing with fresh mechanics, so brace yourself and let's dive in. Although she might seem overwhelming at first, Big Mama is actually a straightforward boss where your main priority is killing her adds as quickly as possible. She starts the fight with 4 adds and you'll want to stay stacked with the tank while burning them down. Do not focus the boss during this phase, just passively cleave it. The adds will repeatedly cast Doomstorm, sending out straight line attacks that you'll need to dodge. They'll also cast Maximum Distortion, a strong pulsating AoE, so before the fight assign interrupts and make sure someone is stopping it every time. Additionally, the adds will randomly shoot players, so avoid staying at low health for too long while all 4 of them are alive. During this phase, Big Mama will periodically cast Sonic Boom, targeting a random player and launching a sonic wave at them. If the wave hits you, it will silence you and drag you away while dealing damage. And if you don't escape it in time and get slammed into an obstacle, you'll most likely die. Once all 4 adds are dead, Big Mama will cast Jumpstart, taking 200% increased damage while dealing pulsating AoE to the party. Cycle through defensives and use your major DPS cooldowns during this phase. When she finishes casting, she'll drop excessive electrification. She will also resummon her 4 adds, resetting the cycle. If you fail to kill her adds in time, she will activate Kilo Block Barrier, reducing incoming damage by 80% while dealing high ticking AoE to the party. Demolition Duo is also a simple fight where the main mechanic revolves around managing bombs and preventing them from exploding. Periodically, Geezle will make ticking time bombs rain from the sky. Each bomb comes with a 30-second timer, and if they detonate, they'll trigger deflagration, dealing heavy initial damage and leaving behind a strong ticking dot. There are 2 ways of dealing with the bombs. The first one is with Kinetic Explosive Gel, a permanent magic debuff Geezle applies to a random player, causing them to take constant ticking damage. When dispelled, the gel explodes, dealing heavy damage and knocking up any players or bombs within 5 yards of the dispelled target. Since the fight doesn't require interrupts, you can handle the dispels yourself by using your imp. The second method of handling bombs is Bronze's Barreling Charge. When he targets you, you'll want to position yourself so that he runs through as many bombs as possible, knocking them up, while at the same time avoiding getting hit by him yourself. Once airborne, the bombs explode, raining down fragments which you'll want to avoid. Aside from the bomb-related mechanics, both Geezle and Bronze have unique abilities you'll need to watch out for. Geezle will periodically fire off 5 staggered laser beam frontals which you'll want to dodge. Bronze, on the other hand, will hit a tank with Warlock, dealing huge damage and hitting anyone within 5 yards, knocking them back. Finally, Geezle will frequently shoot at random players, so try not to be on low health for too long. Swampface might seem difficult at first, but when handled correctly, he's actually a very easy fight. The encounter has very few abilities, all revolving around Razor Choke Vines, which link you to another random player and deal moderate damage while active. If 2 linked players move more than 14 yards apart, the vines will yank them back together, so always keep an eye on your partner's movement.
Awaken the Swamp will deal pulsating party-wide damage and summon Skewering Root, most likely killing anyone in the area. Root eruptions send out tidal waves that must be avoided. Getting hit by one will not only deal strong ticking damage, but will also push you away, dragging your linked partner with you. The second ability that involves dodging is Mudslide, a massive frontal beam that also deals lethal damage.
And that's all. For a final dungeon boss, Geezle is surprisingly simple and easy encounter. At the start of the fight, and roughly every minute afterwards, he will cast Turbocharge, dealing moderate pulsating AoE damage while firing dodgeable electric beams in all directions. The immense energy released by Turbocharge will weaken the dam, causing rubble to fall from the roof, and create pools of dam water. These water pools play a key role because Geezle will periodically target all non-tank players with leaping sparks. These sparks chase their targets indefinitely or until they hit a pool of dam water. If the spark reaches you, it will deal near-lethal damage and stun you for 8 seconds. Once the spark hits the water, it gets electrified. Another electrifying ability is Gigazap, which targets 2 random players, dealing moderate upfront damage and leaving behind an electric circle that inflicts sticking damage to anyone inside. If you're targeted, move away from water pools to avoid electrifying them unnecessarily. Lastly, during turbocharge, any regular water pools hit by electric beams will also become electrified, so be extra mindful of your positioning when this happens. While the bosses in this dungeon are pretty straightforward and easy, the trash mobs are on another level, hitting extremely hard and making this one of the more difficult dungeons to navigate.
From the very start, you'll encounter a plethora of new mobs. One of them is Loaderbot. This mob fixates on a random player, starts spinning, and moves towards them while dealing constant AoE damage to anyone in the vicinity. They're immune to crowd control during the spin.
Venture Coast Surveyors are another threat, as they cast Surveying Beam on a random player, dealing ticking damage and leaving lava patches behind. This ability can be interrupted normally before it's cast, and with hard CC once the channel is active. The most dangerous enemy in this section is Shreddinator 3000. It has two major abilities, and both are lethal if handled poorly. Shreddation summons saw blades under players that ramp up in damage with each hit, meaning you have to move immediately or risk getting torn apart. Flamethrower is a rotating frontal attack that will burn down anyone caught in it almost instantly. Darkfuse hyenas can be problematic as well, with their bloodthirsty cackle, which makes them and any other nearby hyenas heal by attacking for 8 seconds. Mechadrone snipers cast Trickshot, a high priority interrupt since it deals heavy party-wide damage. Finally, Venture Co. Architects target random players with Nailgun, a root ability that also applies a small bleed. They are super annoying because they construct scaffolding, which gives them high ground.
It's over, Anakin! I have the high ground!
Reducing their damage taken by 90%. The only way to bring them down is to destroy the scaffolding first. After you take down Big Mama, you'll encounter Darkfuse Inspectors, which blink behind a random player and immediately cast a frontal cone that needs to be dodged. Darkfuse Blood Wrappers are one of the bigger threats in this area. They cast Warp Blood, a powerful party-wide ticking channel that also leaves behind a strong Hell Absorb. They also spam cast Blood Blast, which should be interrupted as much as possible. Venture Co. Divers are yet another threat, as they target random players with Harpoon, a cast that applies a strong bleed. This ability can and should be interrupted, but even more dangerous is their Sephorium Charge, a contact explosive that deals high damage and knocks player into the air. As you move through the water section before the third boss, you'll encounter Bombshell Crabs. When they die, they crabsplode, dealing moderate party-wide damage and applying a stacking dot. Since the dot can stack indefinitely, killing too many at once is a recipe for disaster. Just before the third boss, you'll face Disturbing Kelp. These mobs cast a channeled party-wide AoE that can be hard CC'd to stop the damage. They also cast a heal over time spell, which can be interrupted, or, if it goes through, dispelled by your Fellhound. Right after defeating Swampface, you'll run into Bubbles, a mini-boss that is super dangerous. Splish Splash is a one-shot frontal cone.
Splish, splash, splish, splash.
Bubble Burp spawns deadly bubbles that are also a one-shot mechanic. Backwash is a party-wide AoE that won't one-shot you, but does apply a very strong dot. And lastly, in the final stretch before the last boss, Venture Co. Electrician starts showing up. These mobs apply a dot that stuns players if it expires without being dispelled. They also frequently spam Lightning Bolt, which should be slowed down and interrupted when possible. The last major threat comes from Darkfuse Jumpstarters. They cast Battery Discharge, which makes circles on the ground every 5 seconds and zaps anyone with about 20 yards for significant damage. Fortunately, you're ranged, so you can stay back and avoid most of the AoE while dodging the ground effects. And that's all you need to know about Operation Floodgate. If you found this guide helpful, please hit that like and subscribe, as it means so much to me. You can also watch me live on Twitch, where I stream almost every day. Remember to soulstone, and good luck!